All right, we're live. All right, y'all. Get ready. All right. Okay. Let's see. I'll say good now. We're gonna have to stick with that. Okay. All right. There we go. Share it on my page. All right. Audio recorded. Good morning, y'all. Get my mask out. Y'all ready? You ready to do it? All right. All right. You know, I like that black. Uh-oh. It's steamed up there. It's all good. All right. Get my music on here. Is that time? Come on, mouse, don't give me grief. So that. Alright. Get the music going here. Let's get it. Come on. What the world is going on today? Okay, having a little technical difficulties, y'all. It's all good. That's when it comes up on me. Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or evil dignity. We do so because the chains of oppression is marvelous and deep and difficult to believe. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye. I'm your third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs, right here on WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station. All right, we're getting it started, y'all. And like I always tell you, don't wait until Saturday at 11 a.m. to tune in to the Open Eye. Even though I know you can't wait. I know you can't wait to get that third eye open. You don't have to wait until Saturday because WHGE, the education station, has slamming programming all week long. All right, you know what? I ain't gonna fool with you. I'm gonna get it started. I ain't gonna waste no time because I got a lot to do today. All right, first of all, I would be remiss if I did not mention and wish a happy born day to one of our greatest, Malik Shabazz, better known to many of you as Malcolm X. On May 19th of this week, Malik Shabazz would have turned 95 years old. 95 years old, Malik Shabazz, one of our greatest. We knew him as a shining black prince. That's what great Ozzie Davis called him during his eulogy. The words of Malcolm still ring true today. One of his greatest quotes. We declare a right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary. Never forget Malcolm's words. And of course, what we got going on, we're still dealing with, of course, with the pandemic and with the foolishness of the leadership of the orange disaster, one of the most blatant liars that ever come along. You know, it's just unbelievable how this man can prevaricate. You know, and there's something. He's pathological, but not professional. There's anybody that don't know that every time he moves his mouth, he's a damn liar. You know, you're just a damn fool if you don't realize that. You know, remember 9/11 when 3,000 people died and the country mourned? 3,000 people died today. People are mad they can't go out and eat. This is how crazy we've become, y'all. This is how crazy we've become. Welcome to the studio, my man Nsoromma. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I got.
How you doing?
What going on? What's good, everybody?
All right. Listen, this is for y'all. This is for y'all. All right. First of all, I wear a mask in public, not for me, but for you. I want you to know that I am educated enough to know I could be asymptomatic and still give you the virus. No, I don't live in fear of the virus. I just want to be part of the solution, not the problem. I don't feel like the government is controlling me. I feel like I am being a contributing adult. Let me say it again, a contributing adult to society. Yes, indeed. Good morning, Sherry.
Sherry.
Yes, indeed. The world doesn't revolve around me. It's not all about me and my comfort. Now, I hate wearing this damn mask, but I'm gonna do it. If we all could live with other people's consideration in mind, this whole world would be a much better place. Wearing a mask doesn't make me weak, scared, stupid, or even controlled. It makes me considerate. That's some damn consideration, y'all. There's something I want to get to here. Sookie. I hope I got it. Oh, yeah.
Silky.
Oh, Sookie. You know I'm old school.
That's like sucking, ducking, crack. That's all old too. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. When we were talking about the stuff that's going on with guns and what have you,
right,
last week, I mentioned how the laws in California changed because of the Black Panthers. Now, let me tell you something, because I can remember when the Panther movie came out, which was rather weak. It really was, unfortunately. They told the story, but it gave a lot of young people the wrong impression, because I can remember running into two young men and them stating that the Black Panthers was the baddest street gang in the world. The Black Panthers were not a street gang. The Black Panthers were not a street gang. The Black Panthers were a political movement. Actually, the Black Panthers' name was the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. And that's what they were about, defending our community. And just some of the things that they did in our community, for instance, the free breakfast programs, which actually forced the government to provide free breakfast programs throughout the country. They were so embarrassed that the Black Panthers were doing something about urban children going hungry, that they had to step up. Oh, let me turn your mic up, brother, and put your mic in. And well, I wrote this a while back. Blacks with guns can end the Second Amendment. Because after one of those massacres, actually, it was the tragic Newtown massacre, raised the issue of gun violence and gun control to the forefront of the American conscience. As in the past, the collective call has come for stricter gun laws and more stringent gun control. A ban on assault weapons, high-capacity magazines or clips, and the closing of loopholes that allow uncontrolled sales at gun shows. As is always the case, these calls for stricter gun control are vehemently opposed by gun zealots and Second Amendment advocates, most notoriously the NRA and the right-wing lapdogs in Congress. Now, gun violence in the Black community has been at crisis levels for years at this point. We know that. History shows us white America, nothing makes white America more nervous. Let me back that up a little bit.
This is my thing with America, period. If you a hustler, and you can hustle anything, but America chose to hustle Black people. We were the first actually sold product on the trade market. We were the first one sold, the first product ever sold on the market. Okay, now, and we were the most, beneficial. So if this is your first product that you're selling, and now your product get enough sense to go, okay, I ain't a product no more. You're gonna stop selling me and doing stuff to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not a product. But yet they have they have created a Black species that they call Black, because Black is not a nationality. That's just the color. You can't say, they say, what color, what's your nationality? You say Black, you're nothing. That's something they made up.
Okay, well, bring us around to the guns.
I'm talking about that's the whole thing. They put the guns in effect so
we would kill each other.
Of course.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's relate that to what we're talking about here, okay? In Philadelphia, Detroit, Boston, and Wilmington, shots continue to ring out. They're shooting each other, like Nsoromma said. In the first 11 days of, what was it, 2018, just a couple of years ago, the stats are always late coming in. There were 22 deaths by gunfire in Chicago alone. That's just in one city. They always point to Chicago, and I question some of the gunfire that goes on in Chicago. Is it black on black violence, or is it violence perpetrated by others and being blamed on blacks? But at any rate, that's an average of 2 deaths per day in one city. Nationwide, at least 20 people every day have been shot. If anyone should be motivated to do something about gun violence, it is African Americans. If anyone should want to convince those opposed to gun safety measures to change their stance, it is African Americans. And we can. History shows us nothing makes white America more nervous than African Americans exercising their rights, especially their Second Amendment rights, which I advise you to do. Nothing is more frightening than a black man with a legally obtained firearm. Now, case in point. In the 1960s in Oakland, California, like I told you, police brutality was off the hook. It was at a fever pitch. Police ran roughshod over the black community. Sound familiar?
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I was in one of those situations.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to say yes. That's happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Violating people's rights on a routine basis, like the brother said happened to him. Influenced by Malcolm X, who I earlier told you, today is Malik Shabazz. I mean, not today. This week was Malik Shabazz's birthday. At any rate, Huey T. Newton and Bobby Seale formed the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Their primary purpose was to protect the black community from police brutality. Okay, that's what I mentioned earlier. The gun laws in the state of California stated that you could carry a loaded gun out on the street so long as it was registered, not concealed, and not pointed in a threatening manner. Members of the Black Panther Party would listen to police calls on shortwave radio. Listen up, y'all. Members of the Black Panther Party would listen to police calls on shortwave radio, rush to the scene of the arrest, law books in hand, that's not a street gang, and inform the person being arrested of their constitutional rights. Black Panther Party members also happened to carry loaded weapons, which were publicly displayed, but were careful not to stand any closer than 10 feet from the arrest, as not to interfere with the arrest. Later, legislator Don Wolford would introduce a bill to repeal the law that permitted citizens to carry loaded weapons in public places. What the Wolford bill sought to achieve was the elimination of the Black Panther Party police patrols. Passage of the Mulford bill would essentially end the Panther police patrols, so the Black Panther Party sent a group to Sacramento, California on May 2nd, 1967 to protest. The group carried rifles and shotguns, publicly displayed and read aloud Executive Mandate Number 1, which was in opposition to the Mulford bill. The legislature responded by passing the bill, thus creating the Mulford Act, which was signed into law by then Governor Ronald Reagan. They roasted hell and they double sodomized him with a pitchfork. In those days, the NRA became strong gun control advocates, helping to draft the legislation similar to the Mulford Act across the nation. Now, the same NRA today is, they in such strong support, fanatical in allowing people to carry any kind of weapon out there they want. I seen a fool up in the store with a damn rocket launcher, and they didn't lock his ass up.
Because if you got a license to carry it and you got a license to have it, you should have the right to defend yourself. I strongly believe that. So whether it's a gun, knife, rocket launcher, whatever, if they saying, or the Constitution says you have the right to defend yourself, you have the right to defend yourself. You can use whatever you want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's all about do I want my product to be able to defend themselves? This is a product that I make money off of. So how they gonna shoot me? You understand? And that's what I was saying in the beginning. Like the government put you on the market, and now you're on the market, and now you want to get off, and you want to get a gun. Yeah. No, they're not going. Of course, they're not.
They didn't go with that then, because we have the right to exercise our Second Amendment rights.
But
check it out now, because this is where it gets. I'm going to really close this out, and this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
All right. Ronald Reagan, who signed the Mulford Act into law, and the Mulford Act, pushed by the NRA, was across the nation. Okay, said there's no reason for people to carry loaded weapons on the street. Obviously, support for gun control laws depends on who's carrying the gun. Okay, they don't want us carrying guns.
Right.
So here's the suggestion: blacks in cities across the nation, 20 to 50 a week, should apply for permits to carry guns. Do this week after week. It will not be necessary to even actually buy a gun. Just apply for the permit. Do this until the press takes notice. It will probably only take a couple of months, if that long. Week after week, black people applying for gun permits. Eventually, someone in the press will hit the panic button. Are blacks gearing up for a race riot? Why are blacks across the nation applying for gun permits? Let's see how long it takes to implement gun safety laws, which I support. I support the Second Amendment and protecting yourself. I support gun safety laws. Let's see how long it takes to implement gun safety laws there. Second Amendment be damned. They see a bunch of black people applying for gun permits. They are just like they did in the 60s with the Panthers. They're going to change that law. You can bet that.
They change every law to keep us down. That's just their governing.
Yeah. Yep. That's just what it is. It's just their governing. Whatever they do, like you said, if it's something that we participate, and that goes in so many strata, so many areas in this country that it's unbelievable. Whatever black people do, if we participate in an event, they change the laws because we excel. And at anything we do.
I'm like this. If they don't want you, and they don't want you coming to their house.
No.
Why you want to keep going to their house?
I'm with you on
that. It's just that simple. If you're not invited to this person's house, you keep coming knocking on their door. Eventually, they're going to get mad and start shooting at you and telling you to get out of here, sicking their dog on you, and all kind of stuff. So that's what America is doing to black people.
Exactly.
It's the same scenario. Support your own, get your own. There's a little town in Italy, a Puerto Rican little city. It's a little town and city of every nationality throughout the world except an African city. So we have to pay attention to what's going on. This is real. We have to support each other. I'm not saying we got to go kill and fight everybody. No, we have to support each other, but we don't even have to deal with them to even fight them.
That's right.
Whoever they may be.
But like I said, because of their reaction to our success, I remain a Second Amendment advocate. Open eye.
WHGE 95.3. Yeah. Yo, Rebecca, what's up, Darnell? I see you, Barry. Yeah. Hey, yo, John. Okay, you always tune in too. You know what I mean? I see you. I see all y'all. E-Day. What's up, Dave? Rebecca, hey. That's what's good. Yeah.
The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, the founders and builders of the Pearl Center, the veteran-specific apartment building for veterans. The Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over the country. All over Delaware.
Expressed on Open Eye are those of the host, guests, and contributors.
Nika, Connie, what's up? Yeah, we way back. We talk back. Text us on something you want to know. We give you some info.
Ethnic group, company, or individual.
The Open Eye with Patrice Gibbs and
Nsoromma in the building.
Yes, indeed, bringing it to you. You know, isn't it amazing? Yeah, I talked a little about the corona. We all know what's going on with the corona and what have you. But isn't it amazing? Serial killers seem to have vanished. Terrorist attacks seem to have stopped. Mass shootings aren't happening. But we still have plenty of police brutality, though, don't we? Not even in a pandemic can we stop the damn police violence against our people in this country. Damn. You know, it's just that whole mindset, that whole attitude with the race soldiers. Check this out, bro. A police officer got fired. He should have.
And been shot, but
okay. For saying it was unfortunate all blacks weren't killed by the COVID-19. And
what do you hold up, brother? Right there. What do you think about the mindset of a person in a uniform that you're supposed to train your kids or tell your kids that when you're in trouble, call these guys right here. These guys are coming to help you. How do you feel about a person in that uniform that is supposed to be representing that? I'm gonna
tell you, bro, it's like you said, they're supposed to protect and serve.
Right.
You know, but we know the reality is that they're filled with hate. That, I hear some people have said, well, it's the training. That's the training is lacking, and that's why, they kill black people like the way they do.
No, they got the same tools on their belt. They can either pull out a taser or they can pull out a gun. And if in the white situation, it's always taser. Pull the left side, pull the left side, pull the left side. And if it's a black person, it's always immediate kill threat. Pull the right side, pull the right side.
That's what I was going to say. They don't have to be trained not to kill white people. Okay, so it's not the training. The system is not broken. They're doing what they are trained to do.
They're controlling their cattle.
Yeah.
They are the first, we are the first product they sold on the market. And these uniformed police officers are the controlled cattlers.
Well, you know what? It's what I always say about global white supremacy. Global white supremacy has a plan for black people. Understand that. If you don't understand global white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. Global white supremacy's plan for black people is they will exploit us. If they can't exploit us, they will enslave us. If they can't enslave us, they will kill us. See, for the most part, black people have outlived their usefulness to the American corporation. When we are useful, see, this is why they have mass incarceration in the prison industrial complex. There's nothing but a modern day plantation. Be clear about that. It's nothing but a modern day plantation.
Right.
So the attitude of these race soldiers is either I'm gonna get him on the plantation or I'm gonna kill him.
Right. Either way, we're gonna get this money. Either way, we're gonna get this money.
We're gonna get this money.
Right.
We're gonna get this money.
And that's a shame. And I was saying the change has to come. How do we bring that change on? Because when you be reading, I like to go into what you read and break it down a little bit and get a couple answers inside of just the whole paragraph. And you just stuffing me with a bunch of information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'd rather talk to you and break down a little bit of certain situations that I like to give,
Yeah,
insight on.
I feel you. The thing is, of course, you got to remember that our listeners aren't privy to this information. That's why we got to get them the information, and then, like you said, discuss that and break it down for them. Like for instance, like I was saying about this cop that said, it's so unfortunate all blacks are not killed by the COVID. I want you to know where this cop is.
Okay.
In Catlin, Louisiana. All right. And don't get that mixed just because they down south. Because like my late great Uncle Richard used to say, you south of Canada? Boy, you south. That's word. And something, they tried to defend him. They tried to defend him. One of the people that tried to defend him, they tried to say, it was he slipped up and this, that, and the other. It was the way the order of the comment came up on Facebook. Yeah, the newest update that Facebook does, it doesn't put the comments in consecutive order like it used to. It's not the timeline, thing. It's relevant newer comments might be above some comments on this.
It's more controlled now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's more controlled. They hide pictures that show, the real things that happen to black people, but you can show the police shooting a black guy running in the back and that not be censored. But showing a person hanging, that's censored.
That's
no, I mean
no showing I know what you
showing the family that all of them reading a book and they all black. That's censored.
That's censored.
Come on, man.
That's censored.
You gotta look up what's going down.
Showing the postcards that used to be distributed of lynchings. That's not censored.
Right.
That's not censored.
They like they okay that. I mean, that's where the legal sides are coming for the black and the people of color to start suing. And when you see that, you take it personal and you write a lawsuit into the government. And you try to put in your lawsuit for the government. I mean, we got to start doing stuff, paperwork. They do it on us.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Everything they got on you is in a piece of paper that they have a folder, and everything you ever did in your life is in that folder. Where your folder for them at? All the stuff they did to you.
That's right.
You don't even have one.
Yeah. And like Nsoromma said, look, and Nsoromma tell you this all the time: get the money. Get the money. They do something to you. Get the money.
Right.
That's for damn sure. Always get the money, because see, blood is a big expense. I'll say that all the time.
That's right.
And we can't always afford to spill the blood. But some of these white supremacists, and probably most of them, would rather give up some of their children than give up their damn money.
Right.
Don't get it mixed on that. They don't want to give up their money. That's damn sure. One of the reasons we do what we do is because of the propaganda. Okay? And this is something that we've been dealing with for years and years, something we've been dealing with throughout our tenure in this country. It's the propaganda. You remember Max Robinson? He was the
ABC.
One of the first black anchors on ABC.
Yeah.
Okay. The late ABC News anchorman Max Robinson described the white media as a crooked mirror. He said that one of the most difficult parts of his job was reporting negative news stories about the black community that he knew were totally untrue. Now see, here's the thing. He reported news stories, that negative news stories that he knew to be untrue. He said, this one, brother, rest your soul, but why in the hell did you stand up for us and not report that crap? Understand you had a career and what have you, but why in the hell didn't you stand up for us and not report that crap? That was one of the difficult parts of your career.
Nah, but you gotta understand, they always put us in a situation where, we have to make a decision whether it's for our people or it's for my family surviving and my daughter or son eating tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't hold a person responsible for wanting to take care of their family.
And I don't hold a person
but then
responsible for wanting to take care of their family.
But if it's causing the whole generation of other people to be messed up in your pleasing your family.
Right.
When our community will feed your family, if we just work together, we supposed to feed and teach each other.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And that's been taken away to just greed, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You know. So I'm gonna tell you, and if I had been in his position, rest your soul, Master Robinson, and we admired you,
right,
for the advances that you made in the news media and the doors that you opened. But if you had to sell your soul and report these negative lies, maybe you should have found another line of work, brother. And I can't.
I mean, he really ain't selling his soul. He letting us know now, even after his death.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to unfortunately die before our words get heard sometimes.
But just the same, sitting there doing that stuff, and I bring that up to bring this up. By this time, I hope you know about Breonna Taylor, who was murdered in her home in Louisville.
Yeah, that's terrible,
soldiers. Man. Yeah, 8 of them. Not 8 of them. I don't know exactly how many. 5 or 6 of them.
They
whatever.
busting her.
Yeah, they busting her home. She sleep naked, and they had this no-knock warrant, and this is why they busting her home. Okay, supposedly, now this is what the press was putting out. They backed it up. Get your damn story straight, mainstream press. They backed it up. Was that she was receiving through UPS and the Postal Service drugs for her boyfriend and for others to come and so they had the drugs delivered to her house through delivery services like UPS and United Postal Service.
Yeah.
The postal inspector said police claims that suspicious packages were delivered to Breonna Taylor's home before the raid that led to her death were not true. That was not going on at her house. This was a working young lady. Her boyfriend had a clean record, was not involved in anything. The cops claim, see, there's something deeper to this story. The cops claim that she was getting these packages in, but she was not.
Right.
And this is why they had this no-knock warrant, because they said when someone has a large supply of drugs and they knock, that gives them a chance to get rid of the drugs. They also didn't have their cameras on. This was just a straight out assassination. And what we need to know is, what was it that either this young lady or her boyfriend were doing for the Black community that the cops felt the need to assassinate her?
Well, I heard it was the wrong house, period.
Yeah.
And they used the no-knock warrant and hit her door, and it was the wrong door. And I heard the boyfriend shot back, and the police exchanged fire. You breaking in my house again. You ain't using no-knock warrant. That don't mean nothing to me. I don't do nothing. I ain't in trouble. I'm licensed to carry a gun. Again, they don't do their research before they run and do their business. All of them people that was involved as police officers should be sued, everyone individually.
Well, period. I think they should. More than that, they should go to jail for murder.
Yes, and definitely do some time.
And definitely do some time. Now, this is really, a big mess. All right, it's a big mess, to the extent that the Louisville police chief announced his retirement. This is how big a mess this is. This is how big a mess this murder is. Because this is what it is.
That's what they're doing around the world right now.
Yeah. Pay attention, y'all. We're behind enemy lines. You need to understand that. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
It's the Open Eye.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Yo, Tay, what's good? Cardi, no, Tay, you crazy girl. What's good? Hey, yo, Anna, Peyton. And yo, I see you tuned in too all the time. You know what I'm saying? Ronald, good looking. Right, Tay, right. You see your boy Wally, his birthday just passed. My birthday coming up too. 26. I'm taking all gifts right now. Yup. Cassie. What's good? I hear you, Tay.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station. And that's what you get when you come here, you get educated.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, do you remember the black family, an armed white mob
Yeah,
running up on the house? Yeah.
That was led by the sheriff.
Led by the deputy. He was a
Oh
deputy.
yeah, the deputy.
North Carolina.
I know it was somebody.
Monica and Damon Shepard say a mob of roughly a dozen people came. Yo, that's scary, man. That's the kind of stuff they used to do. You know, they come run up to your house and drag a black person out, and the next thing you know,
you lynched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's what I'm saying. You need to get armed up. If you had an AK or AR-15, they hold about 100 rounds, and you just let it go.
That'll break up the crowd.
Right. That's what I'm saying. See, we have to get, because that's how they come.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what happened. 2 men, including a former North Carolina sheriff's deputy, are facing criminal charges after leading a white mob to the home of a black teen in search of a missing person. According to reports from the Associated Press and the New York Times, it was determined to be a case of mistaken identity.
They always mistake our identity purposely.
Ain't that the truth? A mistaken identity. New York Times reports that the incident was detailed in a letter from the Shepherd's attorney. Okay? Because see, if these people stand up, damn it, stand up. If these people had not stood up and decided that they wasn't going to let this go, we wouldn't have heard nothing about it. But they got an attorney, and they went and had their attorney file charges and put this out there in the press and made sure that people knew what the hell was going on. Stand up, y'all.
Right. To these people that is doing it, there are individuals like that sheriff. That sheriff led the pack, so he should be the one that's getting the most, because he should know better.
That's right. Now, what's her name?
Deputy. What was he, a sheriff or the deputy?
He was a deputy.
Yeah.
Deputy, former deputy, and he former deputy.
Former now, because
former now, but they caught his ass up in this mess.
But think of how many times he did that for his other boys to go running up on people in people's houses and stuff like that.
Jordan Keita, that's his name, former deputy Jordan Keita, who worked with the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office, and another man, Austin Wood, led a group of armed white men. We said that. Monica Shepard said misdemeanor charges were what happened to my family that night with over 10 people trespassing. See, all 10 of them people should be in jail.
Right.
Trespassing on our property, trying to use weapons and fear to break into my house. I truly hope the Pender County Sheriff's Office acts with more urgency and compassion than they have shown so far. Though Keita is facing some level of accountability for his actions, Shepard believes it's not enough for what she and her son were forced to endure, and it sure as hell ain't.
Right. How about they to kill them people that he couldn't control? Man, no, man. No. All of them should be locked up.
All of them.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Did hard time cracking bricks and cracking rocks.
Now it's something of course the coronavirus goes on, and we've reported this before. Black patients denied testing die from the corona. I'm not going to name all 6 that I had lately, but I got the name of 6. All right, but I'm gonna give you number 6, okay? Because this is so interesting. It's tragic. It's so tragic, but it's something else. The way number 6 came about. Thomas Fields Jr., 32-year-old Navy sailor who was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, who died from the virus. However, his story is a bit different. That's why it's so interesting. He himself was not denied a test, but prior to his feeling sick, his mom began to show the symptoms of the virus and was denied a test. Okay? Reports that Thomas took care of his mom when she was sent home untested, but sadly, he contracted the virus from her. As she got better, he got worse. Had she been given a test, she would have been in the hospital and would not have been would not expose her son to the virus. The way of delivery may be different, but their message is the same. Black and brown people are being discriminated against when it comes to who gets or doesn't get a COVID-19 test, and it's killing them.
What do you think about the Chinese acting like, you know, putting black people out of their restaurant and out of their businesses and apartments, just throwing them on the street, acting like we're the face of the coronavirus?
Yeah, well, you know, it seems as though this was the plan to make us the face of the coronavirus, and this is what they're reacting to.
And then the media is that powerful to change the face of the problem to this particular people. It starts with this people, but these people are the people that's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you have to understand and see a media, how media and how much propaganda influence that the media has to be able to change a whole country's
mindset.
Right, mindset overnight. To it ain't these people. Oh, we're gonna point it at these people because they always the bottom. They the bottom bucket of the No, we're not. No, we're not.
And I tell you, what I like is the reaction from many of the African countries who have been dealing with China in this situation.
Right.
You know, they're kicking Chinese people out.
Get rid of them.
They ending their business deals with China.
Right.
One country, I think it was Zimbabwe. I'm not sure. I have to look it up.
Yeah,
but they were about to sign on to take a major loan from China for their infrastructure. They told China, you know what, keep your money.
Right.
Keep your money. We'll figure this out. We have the ability to do this. We'll figure this out.
Right.
Y'all going back to China with this next.
Right.
Keep your money. And send our people home.
Right.
They, what was it, a sports star? It may have been a music star. Joined with one of the heads of state in Africa and airlifted Africans out of there.
Akon?
Yeah, no, not Akon. No, not Akon. And it wasn't a head of state that he joined with. It was the publisher of Atlanta Black Star.
Oh, okay.
That they got the money together to pay for an airlift to get African Americans and those from the motherland out of China. Yeah, to get them back home. You know, and some of those African countries, let it be known, one African country, I think it was the Ivory Coast, they actually locked up the Chinese in their country until their people get home. And they let China know, if anything happened to our people, we got your people right here. Remember that.
Right.
All right. And this is the way, you know, you got to stand up, y'all. You got to stand up, or you're going to find yourself, you know.
By Marley. Stand up for your rights.
Stand up for your rights.
That's right.
You know, someone posed a question about a week ago on Facebook. What have we done that whites hate us so? Okay, let me break that down for you some. It's called indoctrination. Racism is America's true religion. Every white person is indoctrinated. That is taught to hate and fear black people. Through schools, through the media, through the propaganda, they are taught black people are detrimental to society and worthy of death. When J. Edgar Hoover, you heard me say this before, the head of the FBI, the top cop in the country, was asked, what is the biggest threat to America? He didn't say crime or the mafia. He didn't say drugs or war. He said the black people. Let that sink in. If you don't understand global white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. Think. It's not illegal yet. Okay.
Right, you ain't gonna be able to think pretty soon because they're gonna put the chip in you, and every time you go to think, they're gonna push the button and electrocute you. So you,
So,
right, yo, I want a juice stand.
Yeah.
No, you want a milk. You want a milk.
yeah, they're gonna chain you like they
Oh,
do,
most definitely,
like
yo.
Pavlov's dog.
Yo, it's serious. They trying to control you all the way down to you cutting on and off your lights, like, with their say so.
Yeah, now Ohio County is taking a stand against racism by declaring it a public health crisis. Franklin County, which encompasses the city of Columbus, passed a declaration Tuesday ordaining a racial discrimination hazard and vowing to back community efforts to fight back against racism as part of an awareness program. Racism has been a pandemic long before the current coronavirus pandemic, Franklin County Commissioner Kevin Boyce said in a statement. Our declaration today is important, but it's not saying anything that hasn't been apparent for a long time.
Right.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Franklin County's population of 1.3 million is 67% white, yet Black residents are hospitalized with the virus at twice the rate of other demographic groups and are dying from the deadly bug at a higher rate. Even before the pandemic, the commissioner said Black residents die more prematurely than any other racial or ethnic groups.
Because for one, when you go to the hospital will spend 45 minutes guaranteed on a white person's body and 20 minutes on a Black person's body.
Right.
So that right there automatically is a difference in the death rate and the death toll. They'll work harder on a white person's body than a Black person's body.
Yeah. And it's something that, some hospitals have a real dubious reputation, where Black people are like, you get in there. I don't want to name a hospital here and what have you. I don't want to get a suit or whatever. But you get in the ambulance and they say, yeah, where do you want to go? We're right here close to this hospital there. And Black people say, oh no, don't take me to that hospital.
Yeah, go. I won't go. Yeah, take me far.
Yeah, don't take me there because that hospital there.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it is what it is, because like I said, some of these hospitals, they have this reputation that as a Black person, you go to that hospital, you may not come out alive. And it's the same thing. This is the stuff that we have to deal with. It's the same thing like you said earlier about, what about the police and, the talk that we have to have with our children about the police.
Right.
I heard a Black lady say she's very uncomfortable calling police for an incident that might have her in danger.
Right. Because
the cops are going to show up and somehow
look at you as the criminal, automatically know. See, and that's what I'm saying. I mean,
somehow the victim is going to be demonized, and you're going to find yourself in a hell of a lot of trouble because
trying to defend yourself.
Right,
and now you open up a whole can of worms for you. Oh, you're resisting arrest. All this other stuff they make up, man. I mean, it's a really messy situation.
Yeah, that it is, brother. That it is. But this is Those and I on 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma.
Thank you for tuning in, Tracy Johnson.
Bird up.
Tracy Johnson, one of my cousins on the Facebook side, as I said.
Right.
She always give up good information. We really appreciate the sister. As I heard. And also Ron Skillings, Brother Skillings, thanks for joining us. Yes, Mr. Skillings go back quite a ways. And Madeline Duncan, big ups. Yes, D, there's the number. Don't be afraid to call. You got some information. You got something you want to say, something you want us to take care of. And you can call when we're on or off the air. Right. That's what it is. All right. Time to get in on it now. see here. Where's this? My name is Patrice, after Lumumba. My mother was a Pan-Africanist, in that she believed in the unification of African people all over the world.
Okay.
I was raised to believe that, Garveyite and what have you. You know, Marcus Garvey is one of our most well-known Pan-Africanists. And with that being the mindset that I was raised under, I had to ask about the division within our own family. And one of the questions that I came up, you know, we break ourselves down into groups. You know, we have church groups and different religions and different organizations and what have you. And unfortunately, this causes a schism with us and a lack of unity. Okay? And one of the things I noticed, and I had to ask, why are Moors, Hebrew Israelites, and the Nation of Islam anti-African? Not that they're the only ones, but I have to ask that. Brother, what do you think?
I mean, it's all part of the systematic design.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you say you give a person 6 choices, it's always going to be an argument and a different structure to a situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And saying that, okay, you know, they give a person a choice. If you say it's only one creator and he created everything, and then I go, okay, Pat, but you can call your creator Pat. I can call my creator Victor, boom, you know, Nsoromma, and boom, and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have all these so-called creators.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, like I said, you know, and I understand what you're saying as far as the religious aspect of it goes, and that's because that brings about the schism between Christianity, Islam, and what have you within the black community.
I was saying it as a tool. It's another one of their weapons that they put in our community
Mm-hmm.
that's designed to really attack our, you know, what we believe in the most. We're spiritual beings, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So once they realize that, there's like, oh, we can work off of that. We can. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think it was injected. I think it was injected in us.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. You know, and see, here's the thing that I say about that. When I see some of these groups, Moors, Hebrew Israelites, you know, the Nation of Islam, and I'm gonna tell you something else, because I ran into a young lady from Cuba, all right, who was probably your complexion, with, you know, a beautiful African nose,
right,
full lips, and what have you. And she asked me about some white guy. And I said, that was interesting for a black woman to ask me about the white guy. And she told me, I'm not black. I said, really?
Right, because she understands the word black.
No, she don't. No. Here's what she understands.
Okay.
Okay? Because the white man has equated slave with black and African, the last thing in the world that she wants to be called is black. That was her mindset. That's why she did not want to be called black. Because in her mind, to be called black or African is to be called a slave. And that's because, and this is so with some of these groups that I named, because what has happened is we have allowed them to put their definitions on black and African. You know? And because of that, we want to deny any semblance of black or African. Now, Brother Abdul Latif Hameen, Brother Hameen, highly intelligent, very knowledgeable elder, you know, he broke some of these things down to me as far as the Nation of Islam and what have you. Okay. And some of the things that he broke down was that what it comes down to is understanding history. okay, and understanding that some of the groups like the Moors in the nation and what have you look at the name Africa,
right,
and say, well, this was named by our oppressor, therefore we're not going to go along with that, and understand what he was saying as far as that goes. But the thing is, Africa wasn't named by our oppressor. Africa was named by the ancient black people of Kenya.
So what made that name? So what is the original name of the place that we're talking about?
Africa.
So it didn't come from the guy Suspirio Africanus for the victory, and then he took and raised the cup and say, okay, we're gonna call this after me, Africa.
No.
So it was already called Africa before his name came about being Africa.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
He took the name because he had a victory in North Africa.
So you saying he took on the name of Africa after he took Africa,
right?
And now he didn't name Africa,
right? He didn't name Africa.
Okay.
Okay. It's the same thing with Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar actually had the name Julius Germanicus because he won a victory in Germany, because he had won victories in Germany. So he was called Julius Germanicus. But see, some of us latched on to Scipio Africanus and ran with that misinformation. No, Scipio Africanus, it was not.
So what was Scipio Africanus' real name?
His real name? I got it right here, bro.
I'm only asking.
It's all good. It's all good. His name was Publius Cornelius Scipio.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was. Publius Cornelius Scipio.
Yep.
Stole our African name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's what it is. The name Africa.
We making history right now.
Yeah.
And we are the present day history right now. So you are too. So make your mark in history.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The name Africa is not mysterious nor complicated. Where it comes from is actually quite basic and makes a lot of sense. The land was first named in Kemet. Af meaning house, Ra indicating God, Ka meaning spirit. Africa, house of God's spirit. We are the children of the house of God's spirit. Africa, wear it with honor. We are Africans burnt in God's own furnace. Love and respect. And as I always tell you, yes, indeed.
Anno said 1 million years ago, North America and the West Africa collided to create the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay. Let me kind of address that a little bit. Yeah, that happened when the land became Pangea, and then when they split apart, hey, look, that's somebody, Rachel. Hey, come on in, sister. She's on the door right now. She might be. Yeah, that's her. But yeah, that was during the early forming of the continents and what have you. Okay, and listen, I don't want to sign off without my brother being here present for our sign off. All right, but there was something else that came up. We had a discussion yesterday, and that was the nature of God. Because of course, Nsoromma and I, we have a lot of discussions going out there. That's all right. And brother, I wanted to bring this up, and this is going to be for another discussion because we can ready to roll, y'all. But remember, I asked you about the nature of God yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a tough question, and what have you, because in our minds, and I always say this: did God make man, or did man make God? Man made God. Man made religion to enslave and control his brother. Now, as far as what and who God is, we give God the attributes of a person. And I, like yourself, I don't use the term God. I use the term creator.
Right.
And in our puny understanding. We demand a beginning and a boundary. So in the beginning, there was a sea of spirit and it filled all space. It was static, content, aware of itself, a giant resting on the bosom of its thought, contemplating that which it was. Then it moved, it withdrew into itself until all space was empty, and that which had fulfilled it was shining from its center, a restless, seething mind. This was the individuality of the spirit. This was what it discovered itself to be when it awakened. This was the creator. And as I always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. This is the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma.
Come on.
Open Eye, WHGE 95.3 FM. Yaga!
All right.
He sound like me, Adam. What you mean? He said, in paleo people, he said, commercial title for commerce use for paleo people. Sounds like you.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Link up. We always here. Hit us up. You might have something you want to talk about. For real, for real. All right. Right. Yeah.
Jeez.
We always gotta get that picture at the end.